He pairs up with Mario Mandzukic, and it's a huge game for him. But as I said, good performance in midweek against Varane, and surely that will give them a bit of confidence coming into it.
Yeah, exactly. Madrid, who played their game in hand in midweek, looked as if they're going to cruise against Sevilla. Ended up actually looking at the clock a little bit nervously in the last 10 minutes against Unai Emery's side. Referee today, Fernandez Borbalan. Let's be honest, whatever he gives, he's going to be criticised on one side or another, I think. Some of the substitutes, obviously, Mario, Raúl Garcia on the bench, and, of course, Fernando Torres, who hadn't scored against Real Madrid for Atletico until coming back in January. And there you see for Real Madrid, obviously, Jesse Rodriguez getting back to fitness, Yaramendi, and young defender Llorente. It's been very, very cold in Madrid the last few days. Well, cold for Madrid standards anyhow. It's been several below at night. It's about 4 degrees at the moment. And the Calderón, it has to be said, just next to the River Manzanares, can be a chilly place sometimes during matches. But as we said, it's hot enough at the moment. Full house, 90 minutes could well go a long way to deciding the destiny of the BBVA Primera Liga title. Real Madrid getting the ball moving. Cruz gets the first pass across to Dani Carvajal, and Nacho gets an early touch. We've seen Nacho play left back, right back, and now he's playing central defender.
He's the utility man at Madrid, and he plays with his heart. You can see he's a youth academy player, and he really shows it when he plays. 100% committed, the kind of man you want in your squad. Yeah,
exactly. He's one of those players who sort of maybe suffers for not being a specialist, but he's certainly first reserve these days, I think you'd say, almost. His brother Alex, obviously another former Real Madrid academy graduate, is currently at Espanyol. It's with Miranda. The ball goes out to Juan Fran. Arda knocks it inside to Gabi. Back with Miranda. You see the pitch looking a little bit bare in patches, the Calderón.
You can see the frost and low temperatures have had their effect on the grass. We'll see how that affects Madrid's kind of play.
It was Gareth Bale on the ball. Bale was coming for a little bit more stick of late. He had another shot on Wednesday where maybe he could have crossed. Does seem to be something they're picking up on, maybe a little bit too keenly, some sectors of the press.
I think they're making a mountain out of a molehill, really. It's just he has made a few mistakes on a couple of occasions where he could have passed the ball, but I think it's playing on his mind now. Every time he's in front of goal, he's thinking, oh, if I don't pass the ball, they're going to jeer me. If I miss, they're going to whistle at me. So it's unnecessary added pressure they're piling on their own player.
Exactly. Rafael Varane, the young Frenchman. And say Ramos has got a torn hamstring. It looks he's going to be out of action for between 5 and 6 weeks. It was confirmed yesterday. He'll be touch and go. That means if he'll be fit to play El Clásico, the next Clásico against Barcelona. And Pepe, who is once again touch and go for Real Madrid's return to Champions League action away to Schalke. So it does look as if we're going to get Varane and Nacho together for a while. How will they do? Well, there's the first answer from Nacho, just cutting that ball out calmly. As Carvajal gets the ball back to Iker. Carlo Ancelotti, who said yesterday in his press conference that basically we're not scared of Atletico, although they are very, very good in defence. I think trying to play down all the talk of excessively brusque football from Atletico. Iker sends it long. Miranda underneath that one. Mandzukic wins the header. Here's again the Croat, losing out this time to Toni Kroos. Former teammates, of course, at Bayern Munich. Cristiano gets his first cross in, but it's cut out by Miranda. Good battling there by Coentrao. Here comes to Antoine Griezmann. Well covered though. Once again, Nacho getting across. There's the Rogues Gallery, I think, as it's called in colloquial terms. In official terms, it's known as the director's box. Atletico with the throw-in. Juan Fran just knocks it down to Gabi. Another throw-in for Atletico. A little bit slow there to pick up Arda Turan. And Nacho skies his clearance. Back with Arda. Juanfran kept that one in. That's a good turn from Turan past Coentrao. Looks to get into the area, then went down a little bit too easy. Don't know what you think about that one, Bruno.
I think he was holding out the foul. It was a foul outside the box, but he was holding it on, dragging it on as long as he could until he got into the box to let himself go down. Coentrao saw what he was doing and made sure to stop holding onto his shirt once he was inside the box.
Have a look there. Certainly, there may have been contact outside the box,
yeah.
But inside the area,
there's no reason for him to fall down there.
There's no real reason for that fall, as you say. Yeah, I think that might be a little bit of a taste of what Fernandez Borbalán might have to keep an eye out for this game from both sides. Let's be honest. He's got over the first test so far, and the linesman, I think, was also a big help to him. So again, Varane under pressure from Mandzukic. Iker sends that one long. I think one of the things we'll be saying, Atletico, of course, one of the more efficient sides in La Liga when it comes to scoring from set pieces. Real Madrid maybe received too many goals from set pieces. We saw that last week against Real Sociedad. Obviously Mandzukic, a real threat when Atletico get free kicks, corners around the Madrid box, along with Godin, Miranda, and Thiago, of course, who's there, and Koke, who can put the ball where it has to be put.
And added to that, I must remember that Sergio Ramos, probably Real Madrid's most efficient player from set pieces, both in attack and defence, is missing today.
Thiago says there was no contact against Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, he'd know about that sort of thing, Thiago. People in Bilbao still remembering the penalty he won, in big inverted commas, in San Mamés about a couple of months ago. And Madrid at the moment, Real Madrid, just content, I think, to keep the ball at the back. Certainly not trying to play anything too elaborate. Isco dispossesses Gabi. It's with Cruz. Thiago once again on Benzema. Won the ball, the referee says. And Atletico look to launch a counter-attack with Mandzukic. Attempted cross comes off the back of Nacho.
We saw the referee let a bit of a not too strong, but sort of a strong challenge from Thiago. He let it fly. Maybe that's an indicator of what kind of refereeing we're going to see today, which could play into the hands of Atletico Madrid.
Right, exactly, they do. The higher the referee puts the bar, the more it probably will favour Atletico. It's a decent set piece. It's the sort of thing we were talking about. And there, Arda battles his way through a crowd of players. Couldn't get any power on his shot, though.
But just the fact that he got a shot away there is unbelievable. He had two white shirts all over him, somehow poked it away from Nacho.
Once again, Iker taking his time. Another long ball from the Real Madrid keeper. It's met by João Miranda. We've got 3 or 4 of those already. Obviously, talk about the recent injuries to Real Madrid. Hang on a second, here comes Griezmann. He's got Turan in support. That's a little bit far for the Turk to get to. So we talk about the sort of the injuries Madrid have just suffered. Obviously, Pepe a couple of weeks ago, Ramos, James, who's going to be out for a couple of months after breaking a metatarsal, the bone that David Beckham made famous. Obviously, Real Madrid still without Luka Modric as well. You know, so he's been out for so long now that you almost forget about him. But obviously, he's such a key player for Real Madrid midfield. Wait, this isn't good news for Atletico. Koke looks as if he's pulled a muscle. Jorge Resurrección, to give him his full name. And Atletico going to be forced into an early substitution. It's going to be Saul coming in.
Surprising. I thought perhaps he would have gone for Raul Garcia.
So it's looking there, Godin also in the wars, the Uruguayan.
Perhaps that clash with Khedira from the corner.
See if we can see what happens to Koke here. And obviously can't continue Godin if he's bleeding.
Or perhaps Koke's fallen a victim of the cold temperatures. It's always start of a game, your muscles haven't warmed up yet, and maybe a slight sprint, I think, from that through ball from Griezmann, perhaps might have pulled up something.
Oh, definitely, but I mean, you should be doing your warm-up, shouldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
This is possibly where, as you say, where Godin got caught. Atletico logically taking a bit of time over the substitution, because otherwise they might ask, well, Godin will have to go off if he's having treatment anyhow. So we've got to stop here. We thought it was going to be one of those sort of games. Swings a bit of an arm at him there. Is it whether it's some sort of thing that you do when you're jumping for a ball or not?
I think his arm's a little bit far out there. You do, obviously, you can't jump without raising your arms, impossible. But I think his arm's a little bit, I don't know, I think he brings it out a bit too much, perhaps.
To be honest, it's nothing that wasn't something that we commented on live, so we can sort of be kind to the referee for not picking it up either.
Oh, yeah, it seemed like just a normal clash between two players going for a ball.
Well, in a game like this, which is going to be intense for 90 minutes, losing a player, one of the more creative players, one of the dynamic midfielders, Jorge Resurrección Coque, after just, well, 9 minutes is a setback for Atletico. They bring on Saul, who's done well this season, coming back to the club after a successful loan with Rayo Vallecano. There you have it.
I'm not sure if that was the moment.
No, I think it's a muscle thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But once again, you got we're at the sort of stage of the season now where you wonder, well, if it's a torn muscle, you're looking at 3-4 weeks, Champions League coming up, the end of the month. All these factors start to come into play, and obviously Atleti gonna have to get that cleaned up from Godin, and they'll be down to 10 men for a couple of minutes.
It's not something they're not used to, though, in big games, adversity. In the Champions League final, they lost Costa early on. Arda Turan, I think, as well, had to come off.
In the end, they were just exhausted as well.
In the end, once extra time came, it was game over, yeah.
Well, anyhow, I think we're already guaranteed about 3 or 4 minutes stoppage time at the end of the first half. We'll say it's the Madrid derby, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. 0-0 at the moment. Real Madrid, top of the table, 4 points clear of Barcelona now, 7 ahead of Atletico. And at the moment, it's 10 against 11, as Godin just gets some treatment after that blow in his nose. Or knock in his nose, to put it perhaps better. Griezmann sends it down to Mandzukic, who can't control that. Took a little while to adapt, didn't he, the Croatian, after joining from Bayern. Obviously, it's a different style of football, Atletico. It's a different style to what Atletico have been playing last season with Costa, but I think he's proved himself to be an adept, a good signing.
And it's not easy to fill in the boots of Diego Costa, who left millions of goals last season. He was absolutely vital in Atletico Madrid winning the league. But I think he's done as good a job as anyone could have done coming in to fill in those boots. The
same could be said maybe for Griezmann. Took his time to score his first goal, which wouldn't come to the start of the year, but then since then he's not stopped scoring, the former Real Sociedad forward. A little foul there from Arda Turan. And Real Madrid have the ball. Carvajal. Be a throw-in for Real Madrid. There's Saul getting involved. A couple of rumours that maybe he could moved on in the winter transfer window, but Simeone quickly moved to rub them out, saying he's important to the squad, and so Atletico still in the Champions League. I think that's been proved that the fact he's got onto the pitch within 10 minutes of the start here.
The thing about Saul is I think some of his rights are owned by Peter Lim at Valencia. You know, these strange sort of things that happen nowadays, where
fourth, fifth party, which is still going to be ruled out as well by FIFA.
So there's something strange there.
Juanfran, that's a good cross. Griezmann looks to get there. It's with Mandzukic. He's got Thiago free, and that's across the line. Thiago opens the scoring for Atletico Madrid. Iker says something we're not going to repeat. Maybe he could have done better. For an Atletico fan, it doesn't matter. The Rojiblancos have taken the lead. Thiago Cardoso drilling that low shot past Iker Casillas.
Well, I'm sure everyone's going to look, well, the spotlight's going to be fixed on Iker Casillas because he didn't get a firm hand out to that Thiago shot. But there's also going to be a spotlight on who's picking up the edge of the box? Mandzukic brought it down. He had all the time in the world to spot Thiago, who's running deep. We'll have a look at it here. No one.
They're all actually in the box, aren't they,
box.
rather than picking him up on the edge.
And all he had to do is run into it and smack it. And Casillas could have done better.
I don't think he sees it till late.
That's true. And the ball, I don't think it was struck that firmly either by Thiago.
So what he's done is he kept it low. It's that sort of position where sometimes it's difficult for the keeper to get the hand down to. But
that sort of gap between body and...
But I just don't think he sees it until it's right on top of him. He's frustrated. He should be. It's possibly not as disastrous of an error as it looks.
No, and to be fair to Casillas, he's really increased his level this season. He had a tough moment last year.
Listen to the Atletico fans there. They're
his name,
sticking the knife in there. A little chance of Iker.
I was going to say he's improved lately, as we see Ronaldo back.
I think every challenge Cristiano makes, he's going to get grief, isn't he? Just clips. Yeah,
it doesn't get the ball. Arda just about gets away from him.
It's a foul.
It's a foul, yeah.
Well, drama. 15 minutes. We promised you drama. We weren't expecting quite as much drama in the first 15 minutes. Koke off injured, Godin with a bloody nose, Thiago opening the scoring for Atletico Madrid. It's another 75 minutes to go. I wouldn't be leaving my seat for a while. Coentrao hooks that ball away to Isco, who can't keep it in at the moment. Atletico definitely on top of apart from the score. Real Madrid seem to a certain extent have sacrificed trying to play football at the moment. It's been, let's keep it tight, let's get the ball upfield quickly.
Yeah, they look to be sitting back. We haven't seen them much of Madrid in Atletico Madrid's half, and we haven't seen much of Benzema, Bale or Cristiano on the ball.
It's Juanfran. He's going to go for Arda. Once again, Juanfran puts the ball in. Nacho slices his clearance, and Iker opts to punch clear. And that is going to be a goal kick. Comedy, there was no offside there against Juanfran. Nacho not dealing with that as well as he would have liked to, and Iker, to be fair, when you see it like that, spinning, sliced clearance, possibly best just to get it away.
It wasn't the most orthodox of clearances there.
From Atletico again. Arda once again looking for Mandzukic. So when he does have a good day, the Turk, he has a good day.
That's the thing about Arda. He's so up and down, blows hot and cold so much, but when he's on his day, I think he's one of the most talented players in the league, undoubtedly. It's impossible to get the ball off him. He sees gaps where there are no gaps, and he normally turns up for this sort of game. He loves, well, he's Turkish, isn't he? He loves that sort of fiery passion.
Exactly, and here's Griezmann, who's dangerous when he's got a bit of space in front of him, like now. Antoine Griezmann. It's Coentrao who clears. It's with Cruz. Isco and Cruz need to start getting involved. That's an Atletico throw, although the referee's given it to Real Madrid. Looks as that rebounded off Isco. Nobody complaining about it, however. Coentrao would have played more games this year, I'm sure, but for suffering, as he has done over the last couple of years, a few too many injuries. Once again, down the channel looking for Mandzukic. Good work, Siqueira gets into the penalty area, the full-back. Still Siqueira. This goes in, it's a spectacular goal, and it has gone in! 2-0 to Atletico Madrid! Well, it's the substitute Saul who's put it in, and that is a goal he is not going to forget for rather a long time, and maybe neither is Carlo Ancelotti. Atletico ripping Real Madrid to pieces in the Calderon at the moment.
I'm lost for words. When I saw him lining up the bicycle kick, I thought, that's miles behind him. There's no chance he's going to catch that. And then when he brought it down, I thought, nah, it's gone wide. And it sort of took a while to go in. I think it struck the post.
Look at that, Cruz is post. Look at Cruz here. Cruz is with him, then he isn't. In off the post. Well, 2-0, and it's Saul.
And brilliant run from Guillermo Siqueira, pushing forward from left back, getting past Dani Carvajal, no problems. What a finish from Saul, though. Brilliant football. 2-0 Atletico Madrid.
But looks 5 Real Madrid players in a line there.
Front post, none of them picking up again the player coming in. They're all keeping their eye on Siqueira. And that's schoolboy error, schoolboy defending.
Well, one of the things he did mention yesterday, Carlo Ancelotti, was that he had faith in the people coming into the side as footballers, but he did say we have lost a little bit of experience, and maybe they have paid for that inexperience in those 2 goals. For saying that, I think you've got to say the mistakes are made by players, not really by Nacho, who is the one you'd be looking at, maybe, or Varane. It's the midfielders on both occasions.
Both goals, yeah.
Kroos and maybe Khedira, the people who you should be looking at as much as the defenders here. Juan Fran. And let's not just remind you that Real Madrid have not lost in the league to Atletico in this ground since 1999. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was playing for Atletico that season.
I think that tells the story of its own, really. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. But the tide has turned, hasn't it, between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid recently?
One of the things Fernando Torres said, who's on the bench today, is before we used to go out and play Real Madrid, just saying, what happens? Hang on a second, here's a corner once again. He says, now we go out thinking we can win. Saul's cross is blocked by Gareth Bale. Throw-in for Atletico Madrid.
And that switch in attitude, I think a huge amount of that is down to the incredible work done by Diego Pablo Simeone. How he's turned around this side, this club, which had that losing mentality. It's always been, they were called the Pupas in Spain, the team that everything always happened to them. And he's turned them around into a winning side with a winning mentality. It's an incredible job Simeone has done.
Exactly. Whereas Mandzukic once again causing problems in the air. Every Real Madrid player back in their area, which means the ball goes straight back to Atletico with Moya, who very nearly a year or 2 years ago, very nearly became a Real Madrid keeper, it seems. Madrid were interested in signing him from Getafe. In the end, they got Diego Lopez. Possible handball there by Arna. He's probably going to argue he got a little nudge in the back, but I don't think you can deny that he does touch it with both hands.
Both hands, yeah.
Bit of volleyball there. Throwing for Atletico. Real Madrid not stringing 2 passes together, and this is a Real Madrid side who I think if it's anything has characterised them this season, it's been that they've controlled the ball. We saw it last week. They've controlled the ball, they've moved it around, they've stretched their rivals, and then ended up scoring a lot of goals against them.
And they've complained about Atletico Madrid's style of play, saying it's long ball, it's cagey. And today it's Atletico Madrid who have got the ball, who are going at them, and Madrid playing that sort of sitting back kind of game. Strange.
That's going to go out for a goal kick. A long way to go, nearly 70 minutes, let's not forget. Probably over 70 minutes, bearing in mind we're going to get a good whack of injury time in this first half. And Mandzukic is very good in the air. I think he's made a meal of that one, and the referee's done right not to let it go. Remind you once again, it would put Real Madrid, keep Real Madrid 4 points ahead of Barca, who tomorrow play away in Bilbao in San Mamés. Would mean that Barca have the title destiny back in their own hands, which is a massive thing. At the moment they need Madrid to slip up.
Well, the referee from the start, to be fair to him, he's set out, well, that's the clearest handball I've seen in my life. I was going to say the referee set out a tone. He's shown what he's gonna, how much he's gonna accept in terms of physical challenges, and well, to be fair to him, he's following.
Kept the bar at the same level.
Exactly, and he's not giving a free kick for...
Let's have a look here. There's a little bit of manhandling. Yeah. I don't think there's that much. I think it's something Cristiano does tend to do sometimes, is he tries to referee himself.
Stops running and tries...
A lot of the time, especially at home, the referee will give it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, here comes Atletico again. Saul has got it out wide. Siqueira. Oof. Lovely little flick from Thiago. Just over his companion. I'm starting to see Siqueira a little bit more the player who looked as if he was going for big things when he was at Granada. Obviously went to Benfica. Struggled at the start of the season of Atletico. In fact, he was out of the squad on a few occasions. He's now getting the nod in the big matches.
And he was also close to signing for Madrid a couple of Christmas transfer windows ago, I think.
Once again, Saul. Real Madrid still sitting deep. Cristiano and Benzema, you can see them there in their own half, along with Gareth Bale. Carvajal does well to keep that one in, but Back with Thiago. Godin. Bit of a nothing ball. But once again, Thiago. There's space for Griezmann. Ooh, the offside flag is up against the Frenchman. Oh, I wonder if he'd have put that one in like that.
Lovely finish.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Yeah.
Well,
I think
just about maybe. Yeah. I think Carvajal was at the top, just perhaps a couple of inches behind him.
It's a locked. Oof.
Yeah. It's that back leg of Carvajal that might be playing.
I don't see why the linesman gives it. It always tends to look more offside than on, but heck, there's not a lot in it. Free kick for Atletico. We're past the halfway mark in the first half here in the 6th Madrid derby of the season. Atletico, let's remind you, have won 2 of them, and the other 3 have been draws. In the Spanish Super Cup, and there was a 2-2 draw. Oh my word, that's excellent. Juanfran. It's a chance for Griezmann on target. Ica saves. So the 2 draws in the Super Cup. Atletico winning up by dint of the away goal. They won in the Bernabeu in the league, and they won here in the Copa del Rey 2-0.
Nacho showing a bit of inexperience there as we look at the replay on Mandzukic. He went to ground a little bit too easily and allowed Mandzukic to play that back heel through to Arda Turan.
Long way to go yet, and we know if Real Madrid get a goal back, they will scent blood. At the moment, though, they're struggling to put 3 passes together. There's Coentrao. It's well won by Gabi. Arda Turan keeps it moving, and Thiago looks for that long ball. Madrid defence just pushing forward a little bit there, which might give someone like Griezmann that extra yard or 2 to find behind them. But we talked about inexperience, obviously, with Nacho playing in central defence. I'll also say that Coentrao has not played very many minutes lately either.
This is only his 7th league start of the season. So he's a player that's never got any rhythm going. I just said before, he's always picking up small injuries. You can never get a run of games together. And obviously, with such a high-tempo game like this, he's going to feel the effects. And most of Atletico Madrid's attacks have come down his way.
Exactly. It's only 7 fouls committed so far. Well, 7 fouls given so far. Once again, Real Madrid on the ball. It's with Rafael Varane to Dani Carvajal. That's good work from Ronaldo, whipping that ball into the penalty area, but there's absolutely nobody there to meet it except Moya.
That's a little bit of proof of the faith they had in Ronaldo getting past his marker there, and also how much they're looking to attack Atletico Madrid, that no players are getting in the box. They seem to be switched off right now, Madrid players. They're just trotting about in the middle. You can see them there.
You wonder how many Real Madrid players, especially in this side, are used to being 2 goals down like this.
You get the sense that they don't like getting dirty and having to roll their sleeves up and really just play hard tussle of a game.
Arda once again giving everything there. Possible question in his first challenge, maybe showing a few studs. Charge down the second clearance. It's a throw-in for Real Madrid. Nacho sends it long once again. Good control from Benzema, but there's Thiago straight into him. Siqueira couldn't control it. Carvajal picks it up, takes the throw-in. It's with Rafael Varane. Sami Khedira got the nod ahead of Asier Yaramendi again for the 2nd game in succession. As Isco gets past Griezmann nicely. That's better to Coentrao. The flick from Gareth Bale. Miranda just pushes forward to deny space to Isco, and that's going to be a referee's played on. I'm not sure there's a lot of advantage there. No, it's with Bale. Fall of Coentrao in the areas, just mugged by 3 Atletico players. Gabi involved, and now it's with Griezmann, who gets caught by Toni Kroos, who I think might pick up the first booking of the afternoon. Indeed he does.
But to be fair, it's a nasty challenge. But maybe it's something Madrid fans, Ancelotti, want to see in their players, a little bit more nastiness. Really have a, because right now they're just letting Atletico Madrid players run through the middle easily. And they've got to let them know they're in for this game. And if you've got, I don't want to say if you've got to give them a whack on the ankle, you've got to give it, but you've got to show a little bit more grit than what they've shown so far.
Exactly that. Booking provoked by, I think, Griezmann's pace on the ball there. So we're approaching the half hour. 2-0 to Atletico Madrid in the Vicente Calderón Stadium. Those goals scored by Thiago, drilling a low shot past Ica, who so nearly stopped it. And then Saúl Ñíguez with an overhead kick which went off the post, as the Madrid, as we said, defence and midfield were both times guilty of basically ball watching. Miranda just clips that one forward. Maybe not the right ball there. Coentrao out jumps Arda without too many problems. And with Isco, losing out to the Turk. Great work from Arda Turan. Equally good. Battling though from the Real Madrid fullback Coentrao.
Looking at Arda Turan, I think he's like the embodiment of what Simeone wants in a player. You just see him getting down to get that ball off Isco and then going through on Coentrao. He's up for every single ball, and he's a big game player.
I think we saw in the Copa del Rey, he certainly feels his football with a passion. Very lucky, I think, not to be facing a long ban, actually.
Extremely lucky.
To remind people, in the game against Barcelona, which Atletico lost 3-2, he did actually take his shoe. Well, his shoe came off in a challenge, and in his frustration he hurled it towards the linesman, although fortunately a little bit high. And he got booked for it, which is amazing. He only got booked for it. But the fact it had been booked meant the Federation couldn't then take retrospective action because the referee had already made his decision, which is a strange rule, but that is the rule that we have. Cristiano now on the right, where a different set of Atletico fans can boo him. No joy so far for Cristiano. Goes back to Cruz. Isco. Atletico just sitting a little bit deeper at the moment. 2 lines of 4 as Real Madrid look to a challenge, and once again Arda goes in, gets penalised this time.
Well, he doesn't catch him.
I'm quite sure the referee's given there, actually.
Maybe he's penalised for the way he's gone in. He doesn't catch Coentrao.
He is actually 1 game off suspension, believe it or not. Him and Juan Fran and Miranda all on, I'm sure it's on 4 or 9 bookings, but they're 1 booking off suspension. Miranda might well be off 1 off 9, actually. Cruz with the free kick, good delivery into the area. Bit of panic, slice clear, and with Juan Fran, who completes the clearance. Best moment for Real Madrid so far. Just got a little bit of the initiative back, maybe, as Atletico just take their first little breath for air. There you see the numbers. Cristiano, you know when he's got the ball, don't you? Griezmann wins that one easily, and here's a chance for Atletico on the break. It's Mandzukic. Saúl this time guilty of pulling back Toni Kroos. And what of course that means is there's no chance for Real Madrid to launch a counter-attack.
Well, that had a set piece before. Surprising how much of a chance Atletico Madrid let Real Madrid have. The ball's bouncing about in the area, and that's not something you usually see from Atletico Madrid. And they receive on the receiving end of set pieces. They normally they smack it out into Rose Ed.
Yes, they're very good philosophy. It's what you're driven into at school, you know, when in doubt, kick it out.
Exactly. No mucking about.
Juan Fran first to that one. Something's happened a lot today. Atletico players have been first to the ball in a lot of these challenges. Maybe, and let's be honest, it is a factor. Real Madrid did have a tough old game on Wednesday against Sevilla. Will that have knocked a bit out of their legs? Atletico obviously have had all week to prepare for this game. And so, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, have not had a lot of time, Real Madrid, to recover. Should be Moyes.
That most probably is a factor, and also I get the sense, as I mentioned before, Atletico Madrid losing today know they're out of the league. Madrid, perhaps the players, they know it's a big game to knock out a rival of the league. in the league running, but maybe just part of their mind doesn't say we have to win today, whereas Atletico know it's do or die, and perhaps that's why they're just that inch quicker.
Yeah, looking back to the press conference, Ancelotti was asked whether a draw was a good result, and he sort of said, well, I'm not saying anything until after the game. At the moment, it most certainly would be a good result for them. Juan Fran got bundled over there. Simeone, when he was asked about whether it would be the end of the league, he said, well, the Simeone script is we're taking it game by game, and we'll look at the end of the season. Must get quite happy, I think, to be fouled there. Juan Fran. It gives Atletico the chance to get another ball into the Real Madrid penalty area. It's going to be Gabi to take the free kick. Just over 10 minutes of normal time left in the first half, although we reckon there'll be at least 4 minutes of injury. Gabi curls that one. It's a good delivery. And appeals for a penalty. Big appeals for a penalty. Khedira trying to make it very clear where the contact was. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay.
You always get the sense when someone's clearly grabbing their face or their stomach, you get the slight sense that perhaps it struck them on the arm.
Well, it's just getting a little bit feisty again, isn't it now? Real Madrid on the ball. So again, Arda wins another challenge. Thiago, when he plays, does give an extra dimension to Atletico. Let's have a look. Here's the replay. But it's Godin who blocks it. Well, it isn't his face, is it?
No.
It's not his face. Whether it's handball, whether it's deliberate handball, I think I've seen him given,
And he's blocked out the shot, whether it's deliberate
if the ref gives it, it's a red card, basically, because it's a shot on target, from 3 yards.
Probably a goal from there.
Once again, is it deliberate? Is it accidental? I think the general benchmark is if it's an unnatural movement and it hits your arm.
Because deliberate, let's be honest, no one does a deliberate handball in the box.
Except Luis Suarez.
Yeah, of course.
and Maradona.
Down the other end, yeah.
Referee not giving that one either.
I think this refereeing is really frustrating Ronaldo.
He's not happy bunny, is he, at the moment?
And, well, hopefully he won't vent out like last time when he was frustrated, but you get the sense that this leniency is really starting to get to him.
Also, again, what we're seeing there is how Mandzukic is leading the line more like a traditional number 9. Whereas, obviously, with Costa, it was looking for those balls down the channels, the diagonal passes. Juan Fran dumps that cross in. Once again, an Atletico player gets there first. It's Gabi, but Mandzukic was just offside.
As I said, I think getting to the ball first is simply a question of desire. It's not about being a better player, a quicker player.
No, other way, it's not offside.
It's not offside, no. I just think right now the difference is that it's Atletico Madrid want it more. Simple as that.
Well, I think maybe Real Madrid fans will be hoping that their side can get into, maybe sneak one back before the break. And obviously, I don't know if Carlo Ancelotti's a man that can sort of get out the hairdryer, as they say at half-time, and basically shout a lot, throw cups of tea or coffee or whatever, as some former Premier League managers were famed to have done. Not giving any names, but he was Scottish.
Like to kick boots as well.
I don't know if Ancelotti's one for that, but he certainly needs to get his players up a notch a little bit more. Here's Kroos, that's better. Good battling there from the German. To Benzema. He's got Coentrao in support. Here's Karim Benzema once again. Once again, though, just sheer numbers of defenders getting there. And Arda Turan, who's working his socks off today. Not his boots, his socks. Back with Nacho. Madrid just trying to press to get back into this game. Isco. That's a nice ball out to Carvajal. Down the channel for Gareth Bale. Not seen enough for the Welshman so far. That's good, though. It's brilliant from Gareth Bale. Looks up. Not a great cross, but it's come to Isco. And it is a Real Madrid throw-in.
A disappointing cross from Bale, but better football from Madrid. That's what they've got to do. Play their brand of football, play their about.
Once again, though, you see Griezmann goes down and complains. The referee's just keeping the same level as he is for both
Credit
sides.
to the referee, because he's done it for both teams.
It's Benzema. Looks up to cross it. Thiago's back to cover. Only as far as Cruz. Carvajal. Once again, Karim Benzema gets past Arda Turan. Looks for the 1-2, but into space. Gabi to Griezmann. You could see that no one was going to pull out of that challenge, couldn't you? Thiago sends it long. Not a million miles away from picking out Turan, but far enough. Goes through to Iker Casillas. Real Madrid looking to get the ball rolling. They're getting more of the ball in these last 10 or 15 minutes. In fact, they're now on top in the possession stats. Khedira.
You get the sense Madrid decided there's 5 minutes plus added time left. They sort of, it feels like they've suddenly said, right, we really need a goal, let's try and get one now.
Do get that feeling, yeah. Coentrao. No offside against Benzema, and this once again so close, but side clear. Real Madrid controlling the ball now to into the last just over 5 minutes of normal time. Crossed in by Bale. It's a good delivery. Moya has come a long way. He's got a good contact as well, and there's Arda Turan to collect. Looking for Griezmann. He knows, I think, if he finds Griezmann in that situation, the Frenchman's got a good chance of a one-on-one. This time he was out-muscled, well defended. And Real Madrid continue to press. Few nerves now in the Calderon. Once again, it's Bale on his left foot to Benzema. And Godin, when in doubt.
Kick us out, exactly. Good keeping there by Moya.
Good cross, decent cross in there because it was whipped in, it was curling. One of those that just needs a touch. Nacho. Isco. What can the Malaga-born midfielder do? He's found Benzema. Once again, though, that red and white wall blocking Real Madrid's attack. Saul needs a bit of support. Looks up, finds it in Gabi. That's a nice little flick from Turan. Just taking a little bit of sting out of the game, Atletico. Juanfran has to send it back to Miranda. It's good cover, good effort from Real Madrid there, just closing them down. Slightly turning the tables on what was happening in the first 20-25 minutes.
But they've paid the price for their first 20 minutes. You can't come out to a game of this magnitude not completely switched on. Now they've started to press, started to push forward, but it might just be a little bit too late for that. Well, it's still got the second half, but obviously
it's a handicap race, but they've certainly given the other horse a decent lead. Good work from Siqueira. Just got clipped a bit earlier in the move. Referee thought about giving the advantage. Plays on, and now then gives the free kick. It's Khedira.
Mentioning Siqueira, as you mentioned before, that he's done well gelling in. That's another thing Atletico Madrid have done well this season, which is replace the big players that have gone out. Courtois, Felipe Luis, Diego Costa.
No, a lot of teams lose big players
and don't know how to
make 5 or 6 signings, like Tottenham did with Bale, and
or Liverpool as well with Suarez.
It's taken a year and a bit for Tottenham to get things going. Great performance, by the way, by Pochettino's side today to win the North London derby. 2-1 against Arsenal. Here's Turan. Still Turan. Once again, Atletico players unmarked at the edge of the area. It's with Siqueira. Griezmann's going to go wide. Antoine Griezmann turns well, looks for the return pass. This time it's not going to happen, though. Siqueira's battling away. Griezmann. Ball pinballing around in that far corner. It ends up as an Atletico Madrid throw-in. As the crowd in the Calderon find their voice once again. Long throw, looking for Mandzukic. Doesn't get to him, that's Carvajal. Thiago. Very good first half from the Portuguese midfielder. Miranda. Mandzukic. Such a threat in the air. If you've got Croatian in your side, you know that you've got somebody who's going to give 100% till the final whistle.
It's another one of those similarity with Turkish players, Croatian players. They're all big atmospheres. They like big atmospheres. They thrive on them.
Siqueira. Whoa. Not the second time, but it is another throw-in for Atletico. Just his last 2.5 minutes of just taking the pressure off a little bit, pinned Madrid back in their own half. So into the last minute of normal time, we'll see how much injury time the referee adds. I personally think it should be about 4 minutes. Whether or not he will give 4 minutes is a moot point. Goal kick for Real Madrid. Dios, I think he says Iker, doesn't he?
Yeah. You can hear the crowd again naming Iker.
Free kick for Real Madrid. Bit of use of the arm there on Coentrao. It's a yellow card for Gavi Fernandez. I think we've seen Gabi do a lot worse and not get booked.
Yeah, he leans in with his arm a little bit, but nothing exaggerated. I'll just give the free kick.
2 minutes injury time. I don't know where he's done that from. So sometimes happens they don't give enough in the first half. But I'm sorry, all the time we've all seen how much time Godin needed, how much time Atletico needed with the changeover. For me, it should have been 4.
But it never seems to be given in the first. I don't know why. It's like an unwritten rule or something.
Yeah.
First halves never get given.
I'll tell you what. If I was Simeone, I would be over the moon that he's only given 2 minutes at the moment. Wait, not that they're under massive pressure at the moment, but it just means you get it over with and you get that chance of a 15-minute break.
Yeah, exactly. They've just got 1 minute and a half now to get through. Now they've got the throw in, run down the clock a bit.
A little bit unlucky not to get a free kick there, I think, Coentrao. A little bit of space for Thiago. Juanfran to Mandzukic. Arda's continued his run and he's going to pick this one up. Arda Turan. Has he got anyone available in the area? Oh, vital clearance there from Dani Carvajal, because there was Siqueira and Griezmann both looking to poach a third there.
And here we were saying, we're just going to run down the clock in these final 2 minutes. He almost got himself a third.
Rafael Varane strides forward, but delivery's a little bit disappointing there from the Frenchman. Once again, that ball down the channel. That'll do for Mandzukic, I think. We've got Nacho in front of him. Juanfran in support. This time, we'll go straight back to him though, but he's quite happy to see it out. Time will run down. I think the pitch is not looking good, is it? You know, someone's been hacking at that with a 5-iron.
I'm not sure we're going to get some words about that afterwards as well.
Well, there you go. Didn't even get to 2 minutes injury time in the end, but dramatic 45 minutes in the Vicente Calderon Stadium. We had injury early on as Koke went off. Thiago opening the score with a low shot, 14 minutes. 4 minutes later, lovely break from Atletico. Good cross from Siqueira, and there was a substitute.
شكرا يا زميل حفيظ رشيدا أتذكر.
For Carlo Ancelotti's side. I'm not quite sure who's replacing yet. Be interesting to see whether it's... Well, obviously Ronaldo's still on the pitch. Could it be for Gareth Bale? Could it be for Sami Khedira? Well, there is Jesse coming on.
Well, it'd be surprising if it was for a midfielder, because he'd have 4 out-and-out strikers.
Well, we'll get the confirmation in a moment. I'm very excited to find out who's come off.
Bale's still there, Benzema's still there, and Ronaldo's still there. Looks like he's settling into the 3 behind.
I think it's Khedira.
It's Khedira, it is. Yeah. Wow, bold move there by Ancelotti.
Didn't have a great first half, Sami Khedira. So Ancelotti bringing on Jesse, who might... Well, we'll see what happens there. Will Gareth Bale maybe play behind the strikers? Will Jesse play behind the strikers?
It looks like they're still playing 4-3-3, and it looks as if
Could Bale play on the left?
As if Jesse's dropped back, which is strange, because you wouldn't expect Jesse to play in the midfield. As you say, Bale's a player who's been more accustomed to playing behind.
Well, certainly a sign of intent from Carlo Ancelotti, bring on Jesse Rodriguez, basically a striker, I'll say, and replacing one of his holding midfielders, which is Karim Benzema. No, Karim Benzema, what am I talking about? Sami Khedira. Forget all I just said there. That's an interesting one, though.
Well, he got a goal midweek, so he'll have some confidence coming to this one. I'm not sure the pitch is for a player who's had knee injuries. Well, fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx him or anything, but you do fear for players with iffy knees on this sort of terrains.
Hopefully he's fully recovered from his knee problems. And it's Carvajal pushing forward. Once again, they're not getting past his first man. There's Rafael Varane, being pressured by Antoine Griezmann, the two obviously companions in the French national squad. Cruz spreads that one around. Jesse, that's the first touch. 54,900, full house in the Calderon, as is to be expected. Here appeals, mano, handball. Come out to Carvajal. Once again, Atletico just scrambling the ball clear. Well, little declaration of intent from Real Madrid in the first couple of minutes, Bruno.
Yeah, I think we'll see what sort of second half it's going to be. Madrid going all out, and, well, the intent is clear to see when Jesse comes on for Khedira. And Atletico Madrid perhaps happy to sit back, as they've done on many occasions in these sort of games. And they know how to defend a lead.
Let's not forget they do have Fernando Torres on the bench, of course, who's come back and
good for this sort of situation as well. Counter-attacks.
Pace. Scored against Real Madrid already this season. And his first goal, obviously, after coming back home, let's say. There's Isco. That's good work from Isco to pick up Gareth Bale. Decent cross from Bale as well to the far post. It's going to be a free kick. Cristiano won't like it, but he is being penalised.
I think he feels really hard done by, because perhaps 6 or 7 decisions have gone against him. It looks like he might be tugging Juan Fran back.
Is it Juan Fran backing in, Cristiano pulling him back? It's one of those, isn't it? That's the handball that was given.
That does look, well, there's a bit of intent on that handball.
Unnatural movement of the arm towards the ball. Moya, former Mallorca, Getafe, and brief spell at Valencia goalkeeper. Looks as if he was going to be absolutely outstanding when he first came through the ranks at Mallorca. Took a big move to Valencia. Didn't work out for him, but then showed real personality in turning it all around and becoming such a key player, but just south of the capital in Getafe, which earned him, of course, a move to the Calderon. Once again, great battling there.
Linesman took a while.
Well, I wonder if he actually penalised the shout, because I think we heard a shout of.
Yeah, it seems he waved his flag just as Nacho screamed. He looked like he was happy to let Mandzukic go.
I don't think, to me, that wasn't a foul. I don't think it was to probably 54,000 people in the Vicente Calderon, including Arda Turan.
No, he's got the ball. He's gone in hard, but you're allowed to go in hard. He's got the ball. I mean, you're allowed to clash with players. It's a contact sport. And he's got there first.
He's kept his shoes on this time, Arda. But he's not kept his temper. And unfortunately, that has earned him a booking. And that sees him suspended for the next game Atletico will play. I'll tell you what that is in a moment. Bit unnecessary. Because the thing about that is Arda is a combative player, isn't he? So there's always that chance he might get a second yellow card for lumping somebody, let's say, in the next 40 minutes. He missed out on the trip to Celta de Vigo, which it could be important, because if Koke is also likely to be out, we saw him go off in the first half with a muscle injury. You don't really need to get anyone unnecessarily.
No, two big midfielders, probably the most creative players will be missing there. I suppose Raul Garcia will get the call up back into the team, different kind of player.
Just to remind you that the other players who are a game off suspension are Miranda and Juan Fran for Atletico. There's nobody on the verge of suspension for Real Madrid. Anyway, 5 minutes gone in the second half, still 2-2. Real Madrid making a change at the break, bringing on Jesse Rodriguez, a striker for Sami Khedira, obviously holding midfielder. Playing quite attacking formation. Now Carlo Ancelotti has his side look to overcome this 2-goal deficit. Just imagine, if they lose or draw, it would mean Football Club Barcelona have the title back in their own destiny. Basically, if they won in Bilbao and then defeated Real Madrid in the Camp Nou, they wouldn't need any favours from anybody else. Here's Gareth Bale. It's a great ball to Cristiano Ronaldo. Back heels out onto Carvajal. Decent little delivery. Moya got caught very late there as Bale went for the ball. Apologises though.
Yeah, no bad intentions from Bale. Simply Moya got there before. Well, we saw the clash midweek between Benzema and Beto.
Beto out for 2 months, eh?
Yeah, Bale does lean in with his elbow there.
A few complaints for Jimenez.
I was saying before, no bad intent, but looking at the replays, that looks a little bit nasty from Bale.
Raul Garcia looking forward to getting to the action, you can tell, can't you? He's
already got himself a booking for getting on. Very Raul Garcia-esque, that.
Simeone not over-impressed. Quite good hearing from the referee there. You know, if Raul Garcia said something from 50 yards away with all the noise there is in the Calderon.
I suppose he's gone on his track record and imagine what he might have said.
To be fair, he's not influencing the game, the referee. I think both sides will have little complaints about him, with obviously Atletico asking for a penalty against Khedira, a possible red card. Real Madrid saying, well, maybe Atletico got away with a little bit too much contact, although it has kept the bar reasonably the same height for both sides. That's calm from Miranda. They're just fooling Karim Benzema.
And also that the ball almost stopped. The terrain is so poor that it almost didn't roll into Moyaz. They're going to have to keep an eye on that. But as you say on the referee, I think very, very good game. It's not an easy game to referee, and if you're lenient, the important thing is to be lenient the whole game, and I think that's where the credit lies for today's referee. That
little lack of leniency now creeping in. Nacho is getting booked. Godin not over impressed. It's a bit like a walrus, doesn't it, with those two things up his nose. It's just getting a little bit more difficult for the referee, though, isn't it? You can just see that very similar booking to the one Gabby got, isn't it?
Yeah,
not massive. I don't think there's a massive amount in that, but
no. But well, if he's booked the other one, he's got to book this one.
Has he booked Godin as well?
Godin, yeah. For some afters there.
But that's silly from Atletico. They've just had 2 players booked for complaining. Four yellow cards for Atletico Madrid. Arda, Gabi, Godin
and Raul Garcia.
And Raul Garcia, of course, who's not even on the pitch. Thiago wins that one. And there it was Godin actually getting on the end of that. Once again, just showing a little bit of Madrid's frailty in the air.
Perhaps a little bit too adventurous from Godin, thinking he was going to score from there with a header.
Especially that sort of ball.
Yeah, there's no pace on it.
Yeah, they're just ramping up the tension here now. Which, to be honest, might not be a disaster for Atletico Madrid, as long as they can keep their concentration and not get anyone sent off. It's Real Madrid looking to go forward. It's good battling there from Isco. Gareth Bale on his left foot, perhaps. Tried to do too much, probably should have shot a little bit earlier there, Gareth Bale. It's Saul who's fed Griezmann, who's got pace. Oh, that's clever work from the Frenchman. And it's Mandzukic on the left. He's just had to check. Oops, gets a little bit untidy now with Bale. Referee steps in to impose a little bit of order. Just one of the things that I'm surprised that Madrid haven't thought about is obviously bearing in mind how Gareth Bale started his career and had some of his little foot in there, didn't he? His career at Tottenham. Why they've not thought about playing him as a long left back, which is what I still think he did best.
I agree. I think that's his best position. He likes to have the whole pitch to run into. I don't think he's an attacking midfielder or a Ronaldo type player. That's the best cross.
Overhit there from Gabi, but 10 minutes have gone, 11 nearly in the second half, still 2-0 to Atletico Madrid. And a game that's just getting a little bit more tense and a little bit more niggly as it progresses, as we suspected it might. Pressure for Nacho, does well. Whoa. Gabi with a back heel. Gareth Bale now in the middle. Does well. Still a space opening up now for Real Madrid perhaps here. Once again it's Bale looking forward. It's cut out though. Thiago just dropping back in front of the defence to provide extra cover. Isco, again starting from very, very deep. I wonder if that's part of the consequence, obviously, of bringing Jesse on.
I think so, yeah. I think he's sitting back a little bit deeper to bring out the ball. Obviously, he's got a lot more quality to bring the ball out than Sami Khedira does. And he's the player that makes Madrid tick, so the more balls that go for him, the better for Real Madrid.
Once again, Cristiano not having his best game so far, but doesn't always need to have his best game so far to score a couple of goals. It's a decent ball, once again cut out. I still wonder, obviously before he was suspended, Ronaldo was certainly looking not fully fit. Definitely he'd even said he was playing in pain. Whether these 2 weeks off have allowed him to recover fully is going to be something people I think will be keeping an eye on. Here's Jesse. That's nice to pick up Karim Benzema. Gets the return ball, Jesse. Once again, just simply outnumbered. They're like sharks round a piece of meat, aren't they, sometimes, Atletico, in that situation. 3 of them onto him quickly. And Miranda forcing a throw-in.
What I am seeing from this style of... Well, as we see, nothing in it there. What I am seeing from this style of play is that Griezmann's getting a lot of space to run into with Madrid pushing forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of those punishes Real Madrid, and it could be game over.
30 minutes left, maybe a little early, but would Simeone think about maybe replacing, maybe not Griezmann, but Mandzukic with Torres? The thing is about Mandzukic, he just gives you so much of an outlet. Oh, that's his Jimenez that we saw there. He looks as if he's been in a game already, and he's only been on the bench, the young Uruguayan. Ui, Griezmann, talk of the devil! Ica made an important save.
That's poor clearance from Carvajal that gave Griezmann the chance. He almost played it through onto him. But Mandzukic is bossing the Real Madrid defence. He's just so much stronger, so much bigger.
And we're talking about that experience again, aren't we?
Yeah, it's miles apart between. Nacho's done a good job, Varane also, but you can just tell that
just like that little bit of meanness.
And Mandzukic has pretty much owned them the whole afternoon.
Whoa, I tell you what, that time it was Griezmann who went for the overhead kick. That would have brought the Calderon down if that had gone into the net. And if you've been to the Calderon, you know what sort of condition some of it's in. Sooner or later they will move to the Estadio de la Paineta, which has obviously just seems to get delayed, the construction delayed that little bit more. Obviously the failure of the Madrid Olympic bid for 2020 it's not brought it forward.
But the Paineta Stadium, although it might be better, it's not located brilliantly, is it?
No, it's near the airport. It's not in the same neighbourhood. It's the other side of town.
I think it would lack a little bit of that.
Oh, I'm sure Atletico fans aren't. I don't think they're that keen on the move, really. No. It's not like, say, Athletic Bilbao will move to the new San Mamés, which is literally on top of the old ground.
Exactly.
It's Atletico just getting the initiative again. Once again, Juanfran on one of those surging runs. Griezmann! Over the top.
Well, they've had a spell here of about 5 minutes or so where they've really been knocking on the door. And it looked like Real Madrid were the team commanding the second half. They're still in this. Well, they're still in this. They're still going for a third goal.
Yeah, it's one of those you think that had been Mandzukic and not Griezmann.
Yeah.
Real Madrid need to get a goal very soon, you get the feeling. And at the moment it's Atletico who are starting to look a bit closer to a third. Another free kick. Appeals for a booking. Fernandez Borbalan waves them away. Once again, it's untidy from his goal. Whether or not it's a booking is a bit exaggerated. Clips that one in. Miranda there, out for a goal kick. Iker hurries to take it.
I think pretty much every ball that's been launched into the Madrid box to be met by an Atletico Madrid head. That was to be expected before the game. But it's a huge disadvantage for Madrid from set pieces, because there's always a chance for a second action which could fall to an Atletico Madrid player.
How you see it, more passes from Real Madrid players finding Real Madrid feet, but Atletico just more effective so far. Here's Saul again. Intelligent pass, but it was well read by Varane rather than Griezmann in this situation. There, Jesse turns nicely. He's going to look to come back inside. It's too much though. Juanfran, Atletico. Wow, Saul, lovely little back heel, and Juanfran to Arda Turan. Into the Real Madrid area, they don't want him in there. Juanfran looks for the cross, and Thiago should have scored. That really should have been game over from Atletico Madrid. Best move of the half. Mandzukic did really well there to occupy Carvajal. Thiago came in behind him, heads it into the ground.
And again, 3 Atletico Madrid players running into the far post, and no Madrid players tracking them back. Something Ancelotti's really going to have to work on, because
they've got a big 6 weeks ahead of them. Champions League. You still think they get past Schalke, but if Ramos isn't fit, he might not be there for the Clásico, and you'd want him there, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
Well, that's a big let-off for Real Madrid. Will that be sign for a sea change, perhaps? Can they take advantage of it? Here's Cristiano. Still haven't forced a save out of Moya all afternoon. Miguel Angel Moya. Now you get that little back heel in there. Oh, you'd have put your money on him scoring that. You'd have lost it, but you would have put it on.
A player of Thiago's quality, he's a good header of the ball. He's not the biggest player, but
he's quite tall, eh? If you look at him, he is a tall lad.
He's done well over the seasons aerially, heading the ball away. But yeah, huge chance that was. 3-0 would have been, I think, too much for Madrid to come back from.
No. Should never say it's over. At the moment, they're not looking a good... You wouldn't be betting on them to come back from 2. Hang on a second, though. Here's Carvajal. This is still Carvajal. Once again, though, Atletico battling away, and it's another chance on the counter-attack. It's Mandzukic to Griezmann. It's just gone behind Griezmann there. Just taking the impetus out of the Atletico attack, and they're quite happy just to keep possession. Let that clock tick down. Very mature performance from the substitute Saul, apart from the goal. He's come on, he's still only 21 years old.
And what a game to come on into as well. It's not easy to adapt to already the tempo of a huge derby. He's done a brilliant job.
Played in the Cup. It was a bit of a surprise inclusion in the Cup game that Atletico won 2-0 here against Real Madrid. Siqueira, the Brazilian fullback. Getting a bit carried away there, bundling over Carvajal. Free kick, but he earns the applause of the 54,900 supporters in here, not barring the Real Madrid fans, but I think they only get about 500 tickets, don't they, anyhow, so... It's probably cost about an arm and a leg each as well.
Well, like pretty much every ground you visit in this league, unfortunately.
Jesse, once again, skips past Juanfran, rather rash challenge. He took a risk there, Turan, didn't he? What we were saying about that booking.
Yeah. Showing his studs.
If I was Simeone, I wouldn't want to change Arda Turan simply because of what he gives my side. But I'd be worried about him. Here he is. Thing is, and the player you'd be thinking about bringing on for him. Hang on, here's Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann forces a throw-in rather than a corner. So the player you'd probably bring on for him
is on a
Raul, who's got booked.
Exactly.
Arbeloa could certainly provide a bit of experience for the Real Madrid backline. I thought he might start today, actually, Arbeloa. There's Chicharito as well. So Madrid still got 2 substitutions to make, same as Atletico. It's Thuram. It's a great ball, and that is the 3rd for Atletico Madrid this time. 4th time lucky, Antoine Griezmann.
Again, the defending is, well, near, I don't want to say it's poor, it's abysmal. It's brilliant play from Thuram, holds off the tackle, spots Saul at the far post, who again, brilliant run from the youngster, climbing over. I'm not sure who the defender was. I think it might have been Carvajal. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look at it.
Possibly. Let's have a look again. Here it is. It's again.
It's brilliant from Arda.
Lovely little bit of work there from Arda. No offside. Carvajal breaks the offside. Saul
climbs all over him. And then Varane.
Unselfish, but Griezmann wants it more, doesn't he? He wants it more.
That's what the game's been. The whole match has been a matter of who wants it more. And then Griezmann and Varane are both in equal conditions to get to that ball. If anything, Varane's ahead. He's got the advantage.
What Varane wants to do is he wants to try and flick it wide of the post. Griezmann attacks it.
But once he waits and he thinks about it, Griezmann picks his pocket at the back post.
Yeah.
And a messy, sloppy goal for Madrid. Something which we've gone on about the whole game. The defending is a weak point for Madrid.
Certainly has been today. They've suffered. We could make the excuse of the injuries. They're really suffering today. Really suffering. I think most teams would suffer against Atletico today. One thing we should bear in mind, obviously this will bring Atletico back to 4 points behind Real Madrid. If these two sides should be level on points at the end of the season, Atletico would be ahead on head-to-head goal difference because they won in the Bernabeu and they're winning 3-0 here. So obviously if they were to be level on points, that would put them ahead. Obviously if it was a three-way tie with Barcelona, it would get a whole lot more complicated with a little league results between the 3 of them.
But it's an important thing to have in your advantage.
Just there, isn't it? It's just there, yeah. Obviously there's still those slight match of those 4 points to make up, but anyhow, 3-0 to Atletico Madrid, 22 minutes left to play. Saul's just off getting a little bit of treatment at the moment. I don't know if he collided with a post afterwards. Real Madrid need to do something very special, and they need to do it now. Isco's come off for Real Madrid. Meanwhile, after the goal has been brought on for Yaramendi.
That's a surprising one at 3-0. You would have thought maybe before but now at 3-0, why would you want to cover the...
Just...
Maybe he's looking at not conceding more, or
stem the tide. I think maybe taking off Isco.
There was a slight
maybe it's tired.
Well, it might just be that. Yeah.
We'll go back to the fact that Real Madrid did have to play a tough, possibly tougher than they thought, game against Sevilla on Wednesday night. They've not had a lot of time to recover from it. Unfortunately for them, the dictates of television is for this game to be played on the Saturday. I'm sure Real Madrid would have preferred this to have been played on Sunday.
There was a game where the best thing really for them was only the 3 points, because they lost Ramos, James, Marcelo, plus the fatigue.
And they had to work really hard. Oh, that's good from Griezmann. Push the ball into space. Mandzukic. Griezmann carries forward his run. Goes back to Arda Turan. Thiago goes for it. Goal kick, he won't mind. Ball's out. Real Madrid will have to take a goal kick. The Atletico backline will get nicely organised again.
Well, with these 20 minutes to go, you'd think even
a unicorn
could get going. But you think it's too much, even too much of a tall order. Surely the Madrid players don't believe. Well, they haven't shown belief the whole game. I don't think they believe they can get back into this.
It's Real Madrid, and you'd never, for talent, you wouldn't rule them out.
They're notoriously the side of most turned around these sort of situations.
But from what you've seen in these first 70 minutes, the evidence that what we've seen up to now would make you think might not happening. No. Sal's going to go off, I think. Obviously collided with the post. Real Madrid under no obligation to kick the ball out, although Cristiano sportingly does so. So what an afternoon for Saul, eh? He comes on as a substitute, scores the second goal, sets up the third, and then goes off injured.
Well, I'm sure he would have, if they've given that to him on a paper before the game, he would have signed it even if it means going off injured.
And he's going to be replaced by Raul Garcia,
who comes on with that yellow card in hand, which means he won't be able to show his usual
combative self.
Combative self, yeah.
It's interesting, yeah. Athletic Bilbao President Josu Urrutia commented in the week in a press conference. He spoke about a few signings that Athletic had been interested in, and he did say that Athletic Bilbao had tried to sign, hang on a second, Yaramendi. Griezmann can't quite get there, but Real Madrid had not wanted to let him go, I think was what he said.
Because there's no relation between Athletic and Madrid also, I think that
they don't get on particularly
complicates things a little bit.
And he also implied that they had talks with Raul Garcia. I suspect they were probably quite short, brief conversations. Sort of, do you fancy coming to Bilbao? No. Okay, fair enough.
I think he's the happiest player in the world with Simeone, so...
Oh, he's done brilliantly. I mean, the way he joined Osasuna, he joined Atletico from Osasuna as a sort of a young star. It's a decent delivery. Moya does well to make the claim. Didn't work out for him, did it?
No. He went missing for a couple of seasons, and it was until Simeone came, who
went back on loan.
Back on loan, yeah.
Brilliant season there. We've got to see Chicharito come on in a minute for Madrid. I wonder if he's just thinking damage limitation now, Ancelotti.
I think he might be.
And I wonder if it'll be Cristiano, the player, to come off. He's done nothing today. And you just wonder about that fitness issue, don't you? Which is a problem if James is going to be out for 2 months.
But another criticism of Carlo Ancelotti has been that he doesn't rotate players enough, and they reach this part of the season with a lot of players. It's Benzema, I think.
Benzema comes off, yeah.
A lot of players who have played too many minutes in games where they're 3-0 up, 4-0 up. He doesn't take them off.
Happened in his second season at Chelsea. To be fair, Chelsea didn't have such a squad. Chelsea had a brilliant first half of the season, fell away in the second half, and will it happen to Real Madrid again? I think we can talk about disaster, a bad start to 2014. I think you can, but bear in mind the teams that they've lost to is Atletico, or are losing to is Atletico twice if Atletico win today, and away at Valencia.
Yeah.
All the teams against games against sides you'd think they should win, they've won pretty easily. Real Sociedad, Espanyol.
But then there's the Cordoba game where they struggled a lot and they look tired.
Champions League as well coming up. It's going to be very interesting to see if they can hold their nerve.
But an important player coming back is a player that you mentioned before that a lot of people have forgotten, which is Modric.
Yeah.
Modric will give them a lot of air in the middle.
Just allow them to control the ball more, which I think will probably seal Sami Khedira's departure. That's good work from Bale, but a little foul there from Antoine Griezmann stops him getting any further. Bale playing almost in midfield now. To be fair, there's not been a lot of football played in the second half, has there not?
No.
Not sort of what you expect. It's been tense, it's been tight. Atletico stopped Real Madrid playing, and I'm sure a lot of Madrid fans will say, oh, it's anti-football, but it's been very, very effective. They really have worked so hard, Atletico, today.
And it's not easy. People think it's easy to do what they do, but to be 100% up every single player for every single ball, it's not an easy thing to do.
I think the thing is as well, to talk about Simeone, you can either like him or you might not like him. There's players who don't like him, remember what he was like as a player, etc., etc. Most coaches who go for this 100% commitment, such tough, demanding training, always on top of the players, just squeezing every bit out of them. Quite often, after a couple of seasons, they burn the squad out, and the squad's burned out with them. With Simeone, it's continuing, and I think that is the great thing you can say about Diego Simeone.
I think a great example of what you're mentioning is Bielsa, or even Guardiola as well. Guardiola's a player who demands a lot of his players, but Simeone, you just get the sense that even players who aren't playing, who are maybe getting one game out of every 20, they seem to be right up with him, they're backing him. And that's the incredible thing that Simeone does. He's got every single player on board with him. So
Atletico just seem, every time it's a 50-50 ball, you quite fancy the red and white shirt to come away with it, don't you?
Exactly. It's like Simeone when he was a player. Every 11 player is like Simeone on the pitch.
And it's not a bad thing to look at if you're 3-0 up, is it? Not a great thing to look at if you're 3-0 down. Fernando Torres, the new revitalised Fernando Torres. getting stripped off, ready to come into the action.
Again, I think Simeone's got a lot to do with his resurgence. I think he's made him believe in himself again, and that's the only thing Torres needs. He's got the football, he's shown it over the years. All he needs is a bit of belief. Great
documentary on, which if you look for on YouTube, called, I think it's The Other Face, The Other Side of Football. It's all about Fernando Torres and his struggles. Very honest interviews with him about his time at Chelsea. His first couple of years, talking about how he'd never really been the player on the outside of before. I'm saying how he looked at Ferreira, the right back at Chelsea, who hardly ever got into the squad, and just used him as an example of how to just get on with it, to train your best every day. It's really well worth watching. Griezmann coming off, and I was going to say El Nino, but he's 30 years old, so Fernando Torres.
He still looks like he's 18, so... But another brilliant performance from Griezmann.
Yeah, he's
yet another one.
Really turning out. You compare, we shouldn't be cruel. Two former Real Sociedad players, one sold 1 year after another. 2 years ago, Mendy still hasn't really found his place, and Antoine Griezmann needed for 4 months, and one is being a huge success and the other is knocking on the door, maybe, but I think he'll be leaving in the summer. I still think he'll leave.
I think also one of them is different positions, difficult to compare. But I think Griezmann is...
The thing is, Griezmann had already
left. More of a world-class player than what
Griezmann had already left home, hadn't he, to go to San Sebastian.
Yeah, that's an important fact.
Whereas Iyara was probably a bit of a lad from the Hernani, which is perhaps one of the more inward-looking villages in the area.
Not known for going too far away from home.
And you have time ticking away, and 13 minutes left. Atletico Madrid. Don't think we'd have predicted 3-0, to be honest. Given away there by Thiago, but Carvajal just lets it out for a goal kick.
You can see the both faces there. Right smile on Cerezo's face.
Florentino Perez next to Cerezo, who's the man in the middle. Florentino looks frozen, doesn't he?
He looks like he's not enjoying his time whatsoever.
So it can be a very cold ground, the Calderon, because half of it goes over the River Manzanares, and on a cold day, that proximity to the river, it just gets into your bones. And it is a cold day in Madrid, and it's been 3 or 4 very cold days. Here come Atletico again. Arda Turan now popping up on the left. He's going to take on the rubbish bag. There he is, beaten that. Got past Carvajal as well. It's a dustbin bag, isn't it, on the pitch?
It almost stopped it. He was going right towards it, yeah.
I was sort of expecting it to happen, to be honest.
A bit like that Pepe Reina incident, with the beach ball.
The Sunderland. Good work there from Torres, holding it up. I think one thing is he's obviously gone through a patch where he's not scored as many goals, or anywhere near as many goals. I think what he has done is he has develop other facets of his play. We saw that they're holding it up, playing with his back to goal,
making good runs also. And I know it sounds like you're looking for something when a player's dipped in form. It sounds like you're looking for anything to hold on to. Oh, he's made a good run. Oh, he's done this. But it's part of the game as well. It's not only scoring, although strikers, you only look at their goals. There's other things they do. And I think at Chelsea, he did other things which perhaps the fans didn't appreciate enough.
The thing is, you pay £50 million for
that's the problem, the price tag. The price tag expecting 30-plus goals this season.
Well, just over 10 minutes, 3-0 remaining, 3-0 to Atletico Madrid in the Madrid derby in the Vicente Calderón. It looks as if they're going to make it 3 wins out of 6 in Madrid derbys this year. It's how all of a sudden history has turned around after that long years, with 13 years without beating their rivals until they did it in the final of the Copa del Rey in the Bernabeu, nonetheless.
And it reminds you a Madrid derby those years ago when Atletico never beat Madrid. I'll wait for the corner.
Decent corner taken by Cruz, well defended though.
When, I'm not sure if you remember, Paul, the Madrid fans, the ultras, put up a banner saying we're looking for a decent rival,
dignified rival
for a decent derby.
It always used to happen that we'll do it. This is the time. And about 30 seconds in, Raul would score. or Cristiano or
the old fat Ronaldo as well. He did it back in the day.
Here's a chance though. Ooh.
Yerramendi.
Flicked over, I think, by Moya there. Ooh, the Mexican wave in the Calderon. I suppose if we could sneak one now, it might just put a little edge back into the game at the moment, though. Let's see what happens with this corner. Nobody likes being on the receiving end of a Mexican wave. Some foul in the penalty area with the referee given there.
Yeah, nothing we picked up on. No, this is the attempt, yeah.
Just got a little flick on it, Mike. I don't know if it was going on target. Well, I don't know. It might have been, yeah.
In, yeah.
First save he's made. First save he's had to make all game.
I think maybe perhaps the corner went from out to in with the curl.
Possibly what we're seeing, yeah. What's handball?
No, he's trying to grab something, his face or his chest.
It's Mandzukic. That's remarkably silly booking there for the Croatian.
I like the fact that he for an instant he thought, oh, I might hold.
So that is a definition.
Something.
That is a definition of deliberate handball, right?
The referee's right there.
It wasn't me, ref. Chicharito, has he touched the ball yet?
Oh, I don't think he has.
Atletico really doing all the damage in the first 20 minutes when they absolutely ripped into their neighbours, taking a 2-0 lead, able to control it very nicely from then on, and then obviously the third goal coming in the 68th minute, if I can read my handwriting, when Griezmann finished off another nice move. Well, Ancelotti's used all his substitutions, so has Simeone. A bit of frustration there for Nacho. It's been a difficult afternoon for the youngster. I'll tell you one thing though, you don't want to see him pick up a second booking, because with Pepe and Ramos both out for a couple more weeks at least in Pepe's case, Ramos for 6 weeks. If he got sent off, you probably have thinking about putting in Arbeloa in central defence, or the young defender who's on the bench, Diego Llorente, who's a B team player.
I would think Arbeloa would have probably get the nod, wouldn't he? Just on experience.
Marcelo will be back, of course, next week. That's a nice little flick. Didn't quite work out there. They're battling away as per usual.
And that's Raul Garcia getting his first attempt to get his boots through an opposing player.
6 minutes to go. Once again, though, it just stops any chance of a counter-attack. Gareth Bale. It's very few Madrid players really come out of this with... who would you say was your man of the match for Real Madrid? The best Madrid player? Cruz?
Yeah, I don't think anyone specifically stands out. Maybe Cruz, I don't know. He's been quite alone in the middle, to be fair to him. But, you know, none of the forward players have done much.
I think if I was for Atletico, I'd be very tempted to say Thiago, who, apart from scoring the first goal, was very good in the first half.
And it's the opposite of the first. You've got players to play. I like Griezmann's performance as well today. Even Mandzukic, I think he's done a very good professional job.
Atletico, it's been an exceptional team performance.
Yeah.
Kesse showing a little bit of experience there, a little bit of temperament, which is fair enough. Battling with Miranda, just has a little kick at him there.
Frustration, really.
That's booking, isn't it? Miranda asked for a little explanation.
He's still taking on, looks like, the entire...
It's quite a long explanation, isn't it? Well, I'll see you and me outside, behind the bike sheds. Juan Fran. That's going to be another free kick, Raul Garcia. There's no need for the Atletico players to get involved in anything, really. The only thing that Raul Garcia is going to get now, or Arda, is a second booking.
I think you're asking too much of Raul Garcia there. I don't think I've ever seen him play not being angry. Maybe it wires him up for the game, but he always seems to be angry about something.
Oh, that's naughty from Coentrao, actually, looking at that. He's just had a little step on him, hasn't he? On the top of his foot. Oh, from Miranda just having that little... Not going to hurt him, but it's just going to maybe produce another reaction. That's, you know, if he was in a Harry Potter book, he'd be in the school of dark arts, wouldn't he?
No doubt about it.
Easy for Moya, who surely can't have expected such an easy afternoon.
No saves? I don't recall any.
Just that one from Iyaramendi a few moments.
Oh yeah. Good save as well. Not fair of me to rule that one out off him.
But time, the thing is, the great news for Atletico Madrid is time is just ticking away, and basically, in terms of chances or attacking play from Real Madrid, nothing is happening.
He hasn't. He's mixed it all up, and he hasn't found the combination.
There's Juan Fran as well.
Ooh, Mandzukic. If he had stayed there instead of trying to read the cross going somewhere else, that would have fallen right at his feet.
That's gone out. Not been a good afternoon for Cristiano in any shape or form, has it?
You don't see him lose those kind of balls. It's just got away from him, running down the wing. Almost like a Sunday League winger. You don't normally see that from Ronaldo. Well, he's clearly hampered by something, because Cristiano's a lot better than what we've seen today. He hasn't had much of a chance to show what he's made of.
Oh, this is, I think, the last game, obviously in January in the Copa del Rey, Atletico won 2-0. The fans were happy, they could enjoy it, but they still knew there was the return leg in the Bernabeu to go through. This one, there's no more return legs. They won't see them again this season unless they meet in the Champions League.
That's it, bragging rights for a whole year.
When this final whistle goes, you can enjoy it, and you won't have to worry. It'll be a good weekend. If you're a Real Madrid fan, you might just be worrying a little bit, though. Oh, 4-0, and Mandzukic rounds off a spectacular afternoon in the Vicente Calderón for Atletico Madrid. You'll have to turn back the history books a long time, black and white perhaps, before you find the last time Atletico did their neighbours 4-0.
This is a game they're not going to forget in a hurry. And fair play to Fernando Torres, who we mentioned before, the different aspects of his games he's evolved. Great run and brilliant cross.
Once again, the movement from Mandzukic.
The movement and finish from Mandzukic. He's a top quality striker, and he's proved it today. He's absolutely shredded this Real Madrid defence apart.
Men against boys in the Real Madrid defence, isn't it? Men against boys. He just does that little movement backwards, peels off Carvajal.
Beautiful
Thank you very much.
Beautiful diving finish. He's a brilliant old-school centre-forward, the kind of guy you want in your team. And this for Atletico Madrid fans, I mean, derbies in the world, a lot of people can relate to derbies back in England, but the Madrid derby has just been one of defeat after defeat and pain for Atletico Madrid fans, and they've had to endure all the mocking from Madrid fans for so many years, and it's just difficult to explain how sweet this is for them. 4-0 against Real Madrid, not even in their wildest dreams would they've got this result against the almighty team in the city. It's huge for the fans.
If this one goes in, the crowd will fall down. No, straight to the arms of Iker Casillas. See how much injury time there is. 2 minutes. Well, he's been nice there, Fernandez Borbal. And to be fair, there was a couple of substitutions earlier in the game.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. Before the game, speaking to a couple of people at the TV.
I must confess, I had a sneaking suspicion that Real Madrid might just do them this time.
The sense was that Madrid come up against adversity, players missing, and then they seem to come out on top. And it could even be 5 now.
Well, hang on, you say it. Many a true word spoken in jest over the bar.
It's Mandzukic again. No one getting even close to him. Coentrao not even trying to jump for it. He knows he's got no chance against Mandzukic. But what this will do for their confidence as well, coming into the Champions League. I mean, Schalke obviously I don't think will be much of an opponent for Madrid.
Last year.
But for the big games, a lot of big teams watching this, the Chelseas, the Bayern Munichs, they'll be thinking, oh, they're not as strong as we thought they might have been. And on the other hand, teams looking at Atletico Madrid will be thinking, oof, oof, oof. I don't fancy taking on these guys.
Well, the thing is as well, we should point out that this result means that obviously Football Club Barcelona are still 4 points behind Real Madrid, but Barcelona's now have the destiny of the league title back in their own hands if they win in Bilbao tomorrow and then beat Real Madrid in the Clásico, obviously depending what happens.
But yeah, it's down to them.
Coming months. But if that basically happens, if Barca win every game left this season, they would win the league.
I think going for the bicycle kick there, Raul Garcia was just trying to add a bit of insult to injury.
But there it is. That's the final whistle in the Vicente Calderón Stadium. A historic afternoon between Atletico and Real Madrid. Atletico putting the cat well and truly among the pigeons in the race for the BBVA Primera Liga, handing out one of Real Madrid's heaviest defeats, I'd say for a decade without being completely correct, and throwing the race for the league title wide open. How will both sides react to that?